Good morning, everyone out there in radio YouTube land. I'm Michael Jones. Put out this little, whatever you want to call it, YouTube channel. It's called the Rayden Chronicles. I'm a videographer, so I try to share some points and tips and feelings that I go through on my failures trying to make it in a business, because I come from the 8 to 5, work for the man world, and that's a huge transition from that to running your own business. A lot of stuff you don't know about, tax stuff, how do you market effectively and still do your work at the same time when it's only you, and the loneliness of nobody. There's not anybody around. You're just in the seat, and then the times you do meet to do video, you hope you meet some good people and they're nice and fun and stuff, but usually it's all business, so there's no room for like friendship or anything like that. Basically, it's just it just ends up being extremely lonely, and I sometimes ask myself, why am I doing this? I could go back to welding. Like Evans, there's a place called Evans Metal Fabrication in Wilson, and that's where I worked at for so many years, welding. And they have, people who go in and out, but they kind of have a crew there that's been there a long time. So, man, it really feels like a family. It's got a very family feel to it, Christmas parties, and everybody knows everybody, and you can talk and joke, and I'll find myself down there some days just, in the shop to talk, to see my friends. Man, you have something, you're working in the video world. I don't know if other videographers or production companies, they have any staff. I don't have any staff. It's just me. So, I'm trying to figure out, how to balance this. I don't like the structure of an 8 to 5, working for corporate America at all. And not that I can't do it. It's like I was telling a friend the other night, I still have a schedule. It's not like I've gotten out of the structured schedule. If a client calls me and says, hey, I want to shoot a commercial tomorrow, if I'm open, I'm going to go shoot it. So, that's the schedule. But it's just not so structured, and I understand why companies have to have the structure across the board, because there's going to be those, people who take advantage of it all the time. And that's why they can't, they can't lean it out and and go soft, because then some, jerk, lazy guys go get up every day and come in late. But, man, I tell you, versus that versus my kind of work, man, my work is great. My work is fun. It can get a little challenging sometimes, because in my business, a lot of customers, come to me with ideas, and sometimes they really want to be hands-on and in control. So what ends up happening is we make a commercial. They come to me for my services. I'll ask what they are looking for and what their goals are, and then out of that, what they tell me, I try to form some kind of plan. But usually, a lot of times, companies want control. I'm gonna step back. Not a lot of times, but a pretty good amount. Want to have so much control. What they end up doing is, now this is not ugly or negative towards them, but they end up making a commercial from a person who doesn't understand marketing and doing commercials. So, I guess to give you an example, if I hire you to, detail my car or whatever, and then you did it, or maybe you have certain products you use and certain flow, but I've seen the end result and I like it, so I want you to do it. But when I come in with my car, I've got all this other I've got the plan. So he might have it where he washes it and then buffs it, light sands it, buffs it, and I may come in there and be like, look, I don't want to do this, and he's going to be like, well, that's not really the most effective way to do that. Matter of fact, that's counterproductive. And I'm just like, well, that's how I want it. He'd probably be looking at me like, well, in all due respect, you're not a, you don't you're not in the car detailing business. Like, I thought you came to me. I thought you were, you know, an attorney or whatever. So, like, I thought you came to me with that. So, then you go back to the, you know, the customer's always right. You want to please the customer. So there's a entry level in that spot where you know, you kind of have to, you want business. I want business. You know, I don't have any business now. Business is kind of slow. So it's like, you don't want to turn it down. So, I mean, you kind of take it. And then a lot of times, you know, I end up making the commercial, and it sucks because, yeah, it's a pay for me. You know, like, I get that. It's a paycheck. It gets me through. But now what I've got is a commercial out there that's got my name on it, my signature, and it's not the best it can be. You know, that's a screwed up way to think about it. Yeah, so it's it ends up being not a greatest product because I mean, I'm definitely not arrogant about it, and I'm absolutely not even close to the best, you know, top 100 in this area probably. But I feel confident that I know my stuff. I'm always looking to improve as a person. You know, working field, personal life, and all that. But I have a rough time with that. You know, like almost telling customers, like, no, that's, you know, we're not going to do it that way. That's not how it needs to be done. I understand you know, you want it that way. Here's why that's counterproductive. Here's why I think my idea is better. And I don't, man, listen, when I talk to clients and have like the discovery call, I try to find out everything about, you know, I ask questions to find out everything to kind of build this structure in my mind of like, okay, here's his business, here's where he wants to go with it, here's how fast he wants to get there with it, who's his target audience, you know, research on the product or service in this area and all of his competitors. I say his, but theirs could be one too. Yeah, so I've got to get through that. And still, I'm being a wuss about cold calling. I've only made that one cold call still, and I never made any more. So, and that client hadn't signed on. They kind of have, you know, next week. But I'm going to keep going. Still called Wayne Electric, and I have not heard back from them. When I say call, I mean sent another email, like a follow-up email. But I did not hear anything back. But, and then also this week, I just want to talk about personal stuff like life. I've always felt like an open book. I'm not, people judge and whatever, but yeah, so I had a 48 years old. I've been with the same girl, Amber, for like 11, 12 years. We've been married like a little over a year. It was kind of not important to be married to us. Like, we just, you know, like, we kind of looked at it as like, that's paper, and our promises is good, you know, to each other. That's solid. So, I mean, let's not fall in the trap of trying to, you know, go get married and think that's going to be, because I don't know if I've said it up here before, but, you know, this is my 4th time being married, so I definitely took a long break between that 3rd and 4th one, and tried, you know, by the 3rd one, I was already like, listen, 3 have gone, and you're the common factor in all of them. Like, all right, I think there could be some problem here with you, and maybe you can improve. So I did a lot of soul searching. I was by myself a lot. By myself, I just meant, like, you know, I saw girls and stuff. I just didn't get tied into any relationship with people. And that was probably one of the better versions of me in every way, because when I'm left, you know, when I'm left alone and I have to do it because there's nobody there, I can take care of it better. When I have people, you know, like a wife, and we get into all the bill stuff, and I'm not like actively the bill payer, but, you know, we're kind of splitting money or whatever. I'm not good at that. Like, you literally have to stay on me. And it's not because I'm trying to get out of it, or, you know, skip paying. I'm just not good at remembering. If I don't have it all and it's not on me, like, hey, my light bill's not been paid. My lights at my house at my name get cut off. Click. And there's nobody behind that, you know, to be like, yo, Mike, you didn't pay this, you forgot, whatever. So I'll tend to just, you know, I think like any human, if you know, and Amber is such a good soul to a point like my mom. It's kind of weird that she reminds me of my mom. And you hear that old saying about, you know, man, you know, guys end up marrying their mother and stuff. It's weird because she is oddly like my mom. My mom's one of the best human beings that's ever been put here on this earth, but she's so good and such a good person. She is, it's a fault. You know, she has people that take wild advantage of her. She sacrifices so much, so many things, and has sacrificed for everybody. And, you know, she doesn't have a lot, and she doesn't want a lot, and she has sacrificed a way better life, just like having my sister out, you know, or making my sister pay bills or get a job or anything. And then there's also this, you know, tie-in. They kind of hang themselves together because mom wants my sister to, you know, be there with her because she does. She's had a stroke. She's handicapped. She does need, you know, some assistance. So, and then my sister, you know, kind of doesn't have a life because of that. She's my mom's caretaker, but they kind of control each other, manipulate. Like, it's very odd. But what I'm getting at is that, you know, Amber's a lot like my mom. She's really a lot like my mom. Almost eerie, like when I think about it. If I did like a side-by-side thing. And that's not, like I said, that's not a bad thing because my mom's a great person. And, you know, my mom and dad were great people. They were from two different sides, you know. But my father, he was treated real bad by his dad. He was always told like he wasn't worth anything. It was never going to be worth anything. And he shared that with me a lot. And I could tell that was a mark on his soul in his life as a little boy. He like got off the school bus, and his dad and another guy were standing there against his friend. I think, you know, his dad. I keep saying his dad because my dad told me never to call. He's like, never call that son of a bitch your granddad. He wasn't granddad. He wasn't a dad at all. And he had 7 kids. He was a farmer, an alcoholic, and he was extremely abusive from what I heard. And I remember my dad telling me, you know, like, he got off the school bus and his dad said to his friend, you see that boy right there? And he pointed to my dad. He said, he's the black sheep of the family. He said, he won't never amount to a damn thing, like, ever. And man, you could always, every time my dad told that story, you could hear the pain in his soul when he, like, so what it did is it gave him this drive to be like, no, I'm going to be successful. I'm gonna have a home. I'm gonna have what you got here that you always, you know, that you just take for granted and beat us and all. You don't love us and all that. I'm gonna have that, and I'm gonna give that love, and especially with me. So he guarded the shit out of me. Like, if my first marriage, you know, something happened and we were low on the bills, you know, say the light bill or whatever, for example. This is back when I'm 20, you know, 18, 20, 19, 20. The bills would get paid, or the light bill didn't get paid, it would get cut off. But instead, you know, my dad wouldn't let that happen. He wouldn't let the lights get cut off. He wouldn't, if I'd said something to my mom, he would show up at the house and he would be like, here you go. And he'd hand me $500 and he'd be like, pay your bills. You know, mom told me you were, you know. And he never let me feel any consequences and pain. And I don't blame him, but, you know, it's definitely like the reason I'm not mad at him. Like, he did with what he had to do. But man, it's messed me up in a lot of ways with you know, having to where Amber's in a situation where maybe she's, you know, kind of in the mother role. Like, sometimes I don't put it on the bills, and then she later, you know, she's like, well, you hadn't paid this bill and that bill, and I just paid them. And I'm like, why hadn't you said anything? She's like, well, you know what's due. I don't want to be your mom, and I get that. But I'm admitting to you that, you know, I have this weakness, and I am weak in this area unless it's left to me to feel, you know, like when I'm by myself, you know, my bills are always paid on time. I'm just like, I even think that's ludicrous not to pay your bills on time. But anyway, so I'm 48, and I am 48, and I've been with her for that long. And then given her, so my third wife, the mother of my kids, she's one of the most horrible people, probably human beings on this earth. And she's not just bad or horrible in a way like, oh, she's a bad, like she does it and then she manipulates people and she's two-faced, hypocritical back and forth. But it's all to get what she wants at the cost of everything. So like my son, to my knowledge, what he says, you know, he barely talks to her because of their relationship. So she was infidelity like hell. Like I don't even, God, probably triple digits of how many times she cheated on me. And my goal in that marriage always was just this haunting voice, you know, my father that says, you have to keep this marriage together because the kids, like, you can't separate. I was one of those guys. And I just kept letting her do it to me. Like, I would take her back every time because I'm like, I'll take that pain just because we have to keep the family together. And what I didn't realize is I should have left that girl years ago. She ruined the trust and faith I had in humanity because I couldn't believe anybody on anything because everything she said was a lie. Everything. And boy, did that take a lot of years and a lot of pain and a lot of time to get over. And where I wasn't questioning Amber every time she came home, or like talking to her every time she came home, or you know, like when I say talking, I mean like asking where you been, why are you late, you know, let me see your phone, stuff like that. It was just crazy. And I know looking from the outside in, that's like, oh man, that's crazy, you're being a stalker or whatever, but like it's triple thousand-fold from the inside. Like you being where your wife walks out of the house or your partner walks out of the house, and your mind uncontrollably is trying to protect you. You know, it's one of the most painful things in the world to have a heartbreak or somebody to betray you. And I guess your consciousness builds this protection, and it just turns up on high alert, so you're sensitive to everything. You know, she got her phone. Oh, she's in the bathroom with her phone. All this stuff. So, you know, this week whenever, past month or so, on Tuesday, I go and kind of check out my wife's watch, and I find a thread of her and another guy. They're talking to each other, not how they should be talking to each other while she's married. And my heart fell to my feet, and my stomach flipped upside down, and I didn't know what to do. I just never thought I'd have that feeling again. I never thought I'd be in that situation again. And God knows, for days now, and like I literally have not eaten in a week. I haven't put any food in my mouth in a week. Sleep, like I'm missing so much sleep because I just can't sleep. That feeling hurts so bad of like betrayal. Because all I've ever asked of my partner, especially after that, my second wife, is just, you know, unfaithful and cheated all the time. But when I finally got to the point, and I think, you know, Amber proved to me, and I let her prove to me that she's, you know, was not like the other girl, I finally ended up giving my heart to her, man. Like, finally, I was just like, you know, yeah, I got to a point finally where I was like, I am good. Like, I don't think, it's very rare I think Amber would do anything. But I also know that we're human beings and we're infallible. Well, we're not infallible. I've screwed up before. I have one of my top 3 best friends in my life at one time was married to this very that girl, and she was the same way. Cheated on him all the time. I sat by him watching him go through pain, and then, you know, my wife and I, and him and his wife at the time, were really good friends. We were at his house every evening. We cooked out, we played games, we kind of did everything together. And one day, me and the other wife are on an email at work, and everything's normal, and then all of a sudden, she's made a couple of sexual comments to me, and I've innocently made them back. Certainly didn't set out to do this to my friend. literally before I knew it, we were talking not like we should be talking for somebody being a best friend and being married. And it was just, you know, it was exciting, it was fun, I guess. It was kind of just like, you know, you get that drug feel, you get that little high or something. And like, man, it took me that day, and like the next day I think I came in and she had texted me again, and I was just like, okay, man, this, like, I just heard this voice like, this is wrong, dude. You're doing your friend wrong. He would not only kill you, but like it would crush him, because he's came to you with all his insecurities about this stuff. Like he don't trust anybody either. And man, so anyway, I ended up going home telling my wife, like, yo, this has happened. Here's what's happened. And I told the girl, like, look, this guy's my best friend. I can't do this to this guy. Like, what we're doing is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this, and I don't want it to. But when I said that, it just turned up the volume, and she, you know, the whole can't have you, want you more thing. Anyway, long story short, he found out, had a phone call with him that was just soul crushing, because I could hear how much pain, you know, and he wanted to beat the shit out of me. And I told him, like, we'll go anywhere, I'll meet you, and I'll take that ass with me, because I deserve it. And we didn't talk for a while, and I finally drove to his house one day and like really apologized, and we've been clear ever since. But I say all that to say I'm not perfect, and I know how you can get in situations like that. I know how fast and innocently it happens. And I think Amber, you know, I think she got herself in that situation with this guy. And I've seen a lot of the texts even prior to what I saw that day. And you know, it's very business. And then it slowly, you can tell he's dropping little flirt comments, you know, here and there. I mean, you can tell he's that guy. And she finally, you know, she starts picking up and responding on him, and then it just gets a little bit more heavier. Man, this broke my soul. I mean, and man, like, I didn't know what to do. Like, there was times I didn't even care, honestly, if I was alive. It hurt so bad. And yeah, if I would have been financially, like, super financially fine, I may have reacted on some of my emotions and my actions, and I don't know if I wouldn't have left, you know. But I am definitely not set to just start over at 48 right now, and that's that may be a good thing, you know. That maybe was a good thing. I don't know. But like I said, the basic lesson here I'm trying to get is that people make mistakes, and I know there's risk in all this stuff. I know there's risk in everything. There was risk before, you know, I read that. But I do love her, and I am in love with her. She is the love of my life. Like, she feels like the other side of me. Now, are we perfect? Do we, you know, not fuss? Do we not have problems? No, just like normal couples. We do. But she is my ride or die. And man, that was soul crushing for me. But I talked to a friend, not really even a close friend. It was kind of weird, on messaging. And I told him what happened. He's been through some similar situation, and he just picked up the phone and called me, and we talked. Man, it was like 2 hours, and he's a lot like me as far as thought-wise, and he helped open my mind up a little bit, and open up my, you know, human mind to that we are humans. We make mistakes. Like, look at this. Understand, you know, this is going to take time. Understand that, like, it's changed now. So our plan going forward is that, you know, I've told Amber, I forgive you. I've done that. Not to you, but I've done that to one of my best friends. I know how that can happen. But I've always just told people that I'm intimately involved with, like, I understand that you're a human being, and I understand that you make mistakes, and I understand that you're not infallible. But the one thing you have control over is being truthful to me and telling me the truth. And all I want from you is the truth. If you talk to a guy at work and it starts to get, and you know, nobody, you know, people, we know what happens. I mean, we know what happens when, like, this is crossing the line. You're aware of it. And I expected you to just stop that. Either stop, hey, I'm married, and and she claims that she told him she was happily married, but still while being involved in the conversation. And to me, that's just as good as physical. If I had a videotape of them being intimate together, it hurts the same way as me reading text of her, like telling someone she misses him and stuff like that. Man, that's soul crushing. And it's going to take some time. And I've told her that. I'm trying to be completely honest with her, and I'm trying to be completely honest with myself. Like, I don't know if we're going to make it to forever now, because I don't know if I can, like, it's like she's at the reset button on my trust thing now. So now I'm just on super high alert, everything I'm going to be. And man, that's such a terrible feeling to have to do that, because this guy is one of her work clients, so she's going to be dealing with it. Like, how do I build that trust back up? How do I risk my heart giving it back to her after I thought we were clear on being honest? Like, if you do that, like if you have a feeling like that, I need for you to come tell me, hey, listen, there's a guy that's been coming to work. He's trying to just tell me. Just the only thing I ask you not to do is don't let me find out something's been going on and feel that betrayal. That's the key word here, betrayal. Because man, that is the most painful feeling in the world, and it hurts in a part of your body that you don't even have a name for. Like, it's your soul feels like it's just being torn apart at the inner core. So I have forgiven Amber. Definitely hadn't forgot it. I have feelings about it. I told her there were going to be rough days ahead of us, and I told her up front, unfortunately, because of this decision, I can't promise you forever anymore. But I'm not going to bullshit. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give this my 100%. And I know I'm going to have to deal with pain a lot. I know there's going to be times where I'm questioning and can't find her, or her phone's unavailable. If the guy's been going into work, they've been talking, if she's really going to tell me, like, I need everything. I told her, there can't be a step missed. If there's a step missed in the honesty trail, like, it's going to be over, and it's not going to be a choice of mine anymore. And I'm going to hate it. At the same time, it's just never going to happen again. So the only road to forever for us is 100% transparency and honesty. And just talking to people, like, people, you don't have the right. You don't have the right, whether you're religious or not. Like, you're a human being. You don't have the right to lie and rip apart somebody's soul like that and tear their trust mechanism down. You don't have that right, and you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. And to that guy, he came. He called me the next morning, because I called him that day and I was really ugly to him and hung up on him. And he called me the next day and he's like, "Can you talk?" And I said, "I'll talk to you face to face." So we went. And he got in my car, opened the door. He got in. I told him right to his face, and this ain't no fighting thing, but I told him, you're like, I think you're a punk ass, because you went after a married woman knowing she was married. She told you, even though she kept participating, she told you she was happily married. You knew it. Like, you shouldn't, like, you don't know my past. You don't know all the pain I went through to get over that other girl. And by what I mean by that is, you don't know all the pain I went through in trying to get my trust back, to trust humans again. And now, just because you want to get your rocks off and hit on this girl and talk shit, and he's in a relationship too, so like, he's doing that to his girl. Like, you shouldn't want to be that human being. You should be man enough. He's talking about, want to be man enough to come over here and apologize to you. It's like, dude, you apologize. You apologize don't mean shit to me. Like, you should have known that, and now you've destroyed something and messed something up really, really bad. Just for your own ego and self-gratification, So, listen, I'm 48. I've had relationships like that when I was young, I've done things similar like that to girls. But you grow as people. You try to be better. You try to be a better person. You try to grow as an individual, as a soul that not only just gets by in the world, but helps other people in the world. And like I say, you know, you should do people right. You shouldn't lie and tear people's trust mechanism down. I don't think you have that right. And I think, like I said, I know people make mistakes, but people who just continuously do it, I think they suck. I hope that doesn't happen here. I'm gonna play this for real, but I'm also real in that I don't know what's gonna happen. I know I'm gonna try to give my 100%. I will give my 100%. I just don't know what my 100% is gonna look like. My 100% used to look like. Not gonna be faithful. Not gonna cheat. Not gonna get her back or anything like that. Told her if there's a moment that comes where I know I can't do it, like I'm going to tell her, like, listen, I can't get through this, and we are going to split and be apart. And I'm going to be 48 and not having a partner. I don't like living like that. Like as humans, we have a yearning, an inner yearning for companionship. And I'm one of those guys that I want a girl partner that I can love and who loves me, and I want to be 50-50. I want to not be perfect. I want to have a partner who points out my mistakes and helps me and tries to make me a better person. But it's got to be 100% honesty there. But anyway, probably in some people's mind, man, that's overshare. You got up here and told all that. I tried to be, I'm not calling her out. Like I say, I love her to death. I am still in love with her. I don't hold any harsh blame towards her. I do, I am mad. I told her there's days I'm going to get where I'm probably not going to want her to even come up to me and touch me. And she's going to have to give me some grace and time to do that. And all I can say is, I hope it works. But on that note, to all you other people in your relationships, whether you're gay, lesbian, or whatever, if you have some kind of bond between another human being, like, you should be truthful with that person all the time. Like, that can be your partner. That's how you get better in life. But you can't do it through lies and, always putting your self-gratification first before this other person. You gotta do better, people. And, there's people like me that are gonna give it another chance. And I may end up, you may see me up here in a year or two telling something that this didn't work. I don't know. I hope not. But we'll see. But that's my long, damn, I've gone 30 minutes. Rayden Chronicles today. And I know my wife gets this notification that I put these out, so I love you. I'm not trying to call you out or anything. But this is my channel, and I kind of decided when I did this, I was going to be personal. I don't really advertise it. It's up there if people want to go see it. But no, I do love my wife, and I do. People make mistakes. Some people may be saying, you're an idiot. She's going to screw you over again. I get that. She may. But I love her. And obviously, I'm willing to put my heart out there again based on that, this was a mistake. And you have to do better. And you have to learn from this. So, anyway, people that's my message today is try to do better. Peace.